ಸರ್ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
ನಾನು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಆನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು. ಸರ್ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ PPT-ನ?
PPT ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಾ? ಈಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಡನ್. ಇವಾಗ ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ KSTA. ಓಕೆ, ಅವರು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾದ ನಂತರ ನೀವು
ಈಗ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್.
ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ.
ಮಧುಸೂದನ್ ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನನಗೆ ನೀವು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ
ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಆನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ನಮ್ದು ಇದು ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಇಲ್ವೇನಮ್ಮ
ಸರ್? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಶೇರ್ ಕೊಟ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ
ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ
ಅಂತ ಇದೆ.
ಕ್ಯಾಮರಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಇವಾಗ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತೀರಾ?
ಬರ್ತಾ ನೋಡಿ. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್?
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆಡಿಯೋನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಸರಿ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಹೌದು ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಲೈವ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬೈಕ್ ಆನ್ ಇದೆ. ಆದ ನಂತರ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲೈವ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ಸರ್. Madhusudan sir, shall we start sir?
Hello.
Sir, good afternoon sir. Shall we start sir? Madhusudan sir, namaskara. Sir, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್? ಹಲೋ. ಲೋಬೋ ಕಡೆ ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಸರ್, ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಹಲೋ.
ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಈಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ shall we start?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay sir. So good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon sir.
Good afternoon sir.
Today we have Professor Madhusudan sir, Professor of Genetics and Plant Breeding in the Department of Genetics and Plant Breeding, University of Agricultural Sciences, GKVK, Bangalore. Madhusudan sir did BSc Agri, MSc and PhD in Genetics and Plant Breeding from University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. Sir has started his career as assistant millet breeder in 1995 and later took a position of special officer at the National Seed Project and presently as a professor at the Department of Plant Genetics and Breeding. Madhusudan sir has received several awards. Few of them are Gold Medal for Highest Merit in PhD, US Bangalore, Achievement Award for Excellence in Seed Production for the year 2005 by University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad, ICAR Award for Serving Course Coordinator for the short course on Intellectual Property Rights and Biosafety Issues related to Plant Genetic Resources, University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. Professor Madhusudan sir has published more than 150 research articles, both in national and international journals of repute. Interestingly, sir has also developed prototype and technology for several varieties of for ragi, groundnut, and soya bean. With this brief introduction, KSTA and my own behalf and all of you, welcome Madhusudan sir to give a talk on importance of nutraceuticals benefit for this session. Welcome you, sir, for giving this talk and acceptance of our invitation. Over to you, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Srinivas, thank you very much for a nice introduction.
Yes, sir.
I'm really pleased to have an association with your organization and sharing some of my experiences for the benefit of the students, especially the PU students, as I heard across the state. Probably these are the potential crops which are probably very new to this group. The students probably would have not heard of these crops, and I'm sure this particular presentation will give the overview of the total potential crops that are being cultivated across the country and across the world, and how these potential crops are rich in terms of the nutrient content. So that's why these potential crops are called as the nutri-rich crops. So essentially, because of their hidden nutritional profile that's there in these crops, and I'm sure all of you would appreciate at the end of this presentation. And I am going to speak on the nutritional benefits of these crops. So taking grain Amaranth as one of the example, and move on to the why we need these potential crops. So most of you may not know that there is an estimated 80,000 plants, possible plants of economic importance there in use, and it is found to be about 30,000 of the 80,000 plant species that we have. So there 30,000 crops are edible in nature, and of the 30,000, so 7,000 crop species are under the um, cultivation by the mankind in one time or the other time from the time the agriculture started. If you look back the history, there are something like 7,000 crop species which are under the cultivation or domestication by the mankind, and of which there is hardly 158 plants they are widely used for the food purpose, food production. So 90% of the world's food is being produced out of only the 30 crops of the 158 crops, and 75% of the world's food production is made from only the 10 important crops. So it's an amazing thing. Of so many crop species that we have, something like 80,000 plant species of economic use. So we have boiled down to 10 crops, which are essentially meeting the 75% of the world's food production. So there are 60% of the world's total food is being produced at the moment from only three crops. So mainly the rice, wheat, and maize. That all of us know these are the important food crops which are feeding the hunger, the hunger of the people. So these are essentially three important crops, major crops which have been produced by the farming community for the world food production, the food basket of the country and the world. So why do we need these potential crops? So a few crops cannot provide all the nutrition required, is it not? So essentially our body requires, for a healthy body and mind. So essentially, we need more nutrition. So mere few crops will not be able to provide all the nutrients required for the body. So most of the rice or the wheat, they provide, the carbohydrates which are required for the body building. So apart from this, we also need the essential amino acids and the nutrients that are required for the overall well-being of the human being or the overall health of the human population. In this context, so apart from the major crops under cultivation, we also need a few more crops which can provide the better nutrition that is required for the better health management. So few crops cannot suit to all the agri ecosystems. So if at all, if we look at the very few crops which are under cultivation, so we have been cultivating the crops from different parts from right from the uh, Kanyakumari to Srinagar. So if you look at Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we have been cultivating the crops across the different states in various agro ecosystems. So few crops cannot suit to all the agro ecosystems that are under cultivation. So essentially, we need to develop crop varieties suitable for each and every agri ecosystem that is being cultivated by the farming community. So, which generally, in order to have the very robust health system, we need to have the broad-based food-based system. That's why we need to diversify the food base of the total food production that is available on the earth. So, in this context, what is the solution? So, we need to look at the potential crops of the regional importance. So, in every region, there are different crops. So we are suitable for the climatic conditions or the soil types that are available. So we have been cultivating various crops in the regional level. Suppose the crops which are cultivated in Karnataka may not suit to the other parts of the country, other parts of the state. When within the state itself, the crops that are we are cultivating in southern part of Karnataka may not suit well for the northern parts of Karnataka. So because we have the different agro ecosystems, so that's the reason why we need to identify the crops for the regional importance. So based on the soil types and the environmental conditions are the agri ecosystems that are prevailing in each of these districts and the different regions, we need to identify the regional crops which are important to cultivate in an economical way. So that's the reason why these potential crops are going to be the future crops. So which provides promise for the changed agro ecosystems, and these crops can be profitably cultivated for the economic benefit of the mankind. So in order to meet this challenge, we have the research network on the potential crops in India. So the All India Coordinated Research Project on the underutilized and underexploited crop lands, which was initiated in way back in 1982, and now it is functioning as AACRN, All India Coordinated Research Network on potential crops, which is falling under the umbrella of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, New Delhi. So the very objective of this R&D Coordinated Research Network project is to generate improved technologies in selected crops of the minor economic importance for food, fodder, and industrial use. That means to say that these minor crops or the potential crops have the capacity to meet the food requirement as well as the fodder requirement for the ruminants. And also these crops also promise certain industrial uses, which we are going to see in the subsequent slides, how best these crops provide food as well as the fodder and the industrial use. So here the headquarters is of this particular AACRN, All India Coordinated Research Network project, is located at NBPGR, that is National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources at New Delhi, and it is being coordinated and conducting research on 17 crops which are having the food, fodder, and the industrial value through 13 main research centers working exclusively on these potential crops. And also there are 10 cooperating centers and the 4 voluntary centers so which are located in diverse agroclimatic zones of the country. So that's how the group is working on enhancing the research potential and identifying the technologies to generate the improved technologies in these crops. So we have been working in 17 main centers and 13 main centers and 10 cooperating centers and 4 volunteer centers across the country. So this is some of the list of selected 17 crops which are coming under this network program. So essentially, we have under the network program across the country, we are having the pseudo cereals, the minor cereals, there are food legumes, vegetables, oilseed crops. These are some of the major crops that are covered under this particular CRIP program. Under the pseudo cereals, most of the cereals that we have, the paddy and then wheat, jowar, bajra, and so on and so forth. So this particular grain amaranth is classified as the pseudo cereal, and we also have buckwheat and the grain quinoa, which are largely cultivated in the hilly areas, especially in the tribal areas. These crops are grown under the marginal ecosystem. So similarly, we have the food legumes like rice bean, which is similar to that of our green gram or the black gram, which looks similar to that of this green gram and black gram, which is one of the major food legume that we have cultivated. And this rice bean has the potential to have the better nutrition in terms of the protein supplementation. So also we have the faba bean and the Najiki beans and then winged beans. We are also working in the winged bean. This is also an important crop. Most of the uh, villages, the tribal farmers use this winged bean as a vegetable also. This is very essentially rich in the protein composition. So also we have some of the vegetables and then oilseed crops, especially this jethropa, probably all of us know. The jethropa crop is being raised in our own state also. The government of Karnataka and the Department of Agriculture and has taken a lead in extending the area under the jethropa in one of the program. So this is one of the major oil yielding crop. So this crop is being exploited. And under the pseudo cereals would consist of this grain amaranth. We have the buckwheat and the grain quinoa parts. So this grain amaranth is one of the major crop that we are working with. And we also have the quinoa parts. Nowadays, it's gaining a large amount of the importance in terms of the breakfast cereal. Probably you must be knowing quinoa. Probably you heard of the quinoa. Quinoa and the grain amaranth is being consumed. So once upon a time, this grain amaranth was also called the grain of gods. And essentially, this particular crop originates from South America. And if you look back the history, this grain amaranth was one of the staple food crop in those days. But of late, it's being replaced with the other crops. But nevertheless, this particular grain amaranth has the good nutritional profile, which we're going to see in the next slides. Similarly, we also have the buckwheat, which is being cultivated in the northeastern part of India. So quinoa, the quinoa parts, we have good number of varieties in this, and this particular quinoa parts are being grown in our state also, and the adjacent neighboring states also, especially in Andhra Pradesh. This particular grain quinoa parts are being cultivated, and they have the lot of export potential, and also this domestic use. So coming to this, particularly this grain amaranth, this is one of the important crop of this region. This particular crop looks like this, generally all of us know very well. It's called as the dantin soppu. We generally cultivate this particular crop for the green leafy vegetable as a green leafy vegetable. Nevertheless, we have recently identified some of the grain types in this particular amaranth. So these particularly grains are pound and made into flour, and this flour can be used to make these chapatis. Similarly, this can also be used as a breakfast cereal. So it can be mixed, and I will tell you some of the products, how these products can be prepared out of this grain amaranth. This grain amaranth comes in different colors. We have the white type and the red types. So this is being an ornament. It looks like an ornamental crop, but nevertheless, this crop can be exploited very well for the grain purpose also. This grains looks like any of the small millets that we have. So this is another important crop, that is the buckwheat. So it's a minor crop largely grown in the hilly areas and the tribal population, tribal habitats. This particular crop is also a nutri-rich crop. So a lot of flakes can be made, and then different forms of the grains can be consumed, and even the flour can be used in making the noodles. So why these noodles? They have these particular grains have the inbuilt nutri-rich crops. So that's how these particular crops can be exploited for the nutritional benefits. So Chenopodium quinoa, this is last commonly called as quinoa. Probably you would have seen in the market, quinoa seeds are available in the markets in the stalls. So nowadays, because of this very rich nutrition that is available in these grains, so people, especially the people with ailments, especially diabetic problems, so those people are using this particular grains of this quinoa, that is Chenopodium quinoa. So we have different large amount of diversity is seen in this particular crop. You can see there are different colored varieties available, and these things can be cultivated easily with less moisture, that is less. They are tolerant to the drought. That's how they can be easily cultivated in the less rainfall areas also. So another minor cereals like job steer, of course, we don't have the mandate of this particular crop, but for the information of all of you, there is minor cereals like job tears. It's being cultivated in the northeastern states. So coming to the food legumes, these are also very important from the vegetarian diet point of view. So these food legumes largely provide a lot of protein. So unlike our cowpea or many of the black gram or green gram, all these grams whichever we consume, like red gram and all these things, these minor crops which provide promise for nutrition. In that we have a mandatory crop of rice bean, which is similar to that of our green gram or to black gram. You can see these parts and the leaves. Similarly, we have another crop that's a winged bean. This particular winged bean is used as a vegetable. And we also have the faba bean, which is largely grown in the northern Indian conditions. Similarly, we have the adzuki bean, another bean. It's also being cultivated in the northeastern parts. So like also we have some of the vegetables, some minor vegetables which have the promise. So oilseed crops like perilla, we have Simaruba. It's a very uh, hardy species. It's a tree species which has been the promising lot of medicinal values also. Coming to this AIS here on potential crops at Bangalore Center, we have grain amaranth. That's what I said, the green types and the white types. We have the red types also present in this. And we have a mandatory crop of rice bean, and we have a mandatory crop of winged bean also. Apart from this, we also work on the chia. So coming to the grain amaranth, it's a rediscovered ancient crop known for its nutritional value. So way back in the early part of the agriculture came into existence, that time itself this particular crop was under a lot of cultivation. And in the South American conditions, this was one of the major staple crop during those days. But because of this nutritional profile, this nutritional value, this particular crop is being exploited in the recent times. It belongs to genus Amaranth and its family Amaranthaceae. It is categorized as the pseudo cereal in the list of potential crops. So we have the cereals and pseudo cereals. So it is generally grown for the green leafy vegetables as well as the grain purpose. We have two utilities of this particular amaranth. So in the early stages, we can use them as the green leafy vegetable. And if it is allowed for maturity, and we will have the uh, grains like this. White grains can be harvested from these panicles. So it is native to America and is widely distributed in tropical regions. Largely, it is distributed among the tropical regions. Yeah, this is very important. The whole essence of the today's topic is the nutritional composition of these potential crops. So I'm going to talk about only the grain amaranth and its nutritional profile and what products can be prepared out of it and so on and so forth. But my colleague, Dr. Anand, would be touching upon the chia and quinoa and chia, two important crops, and what are the agronomic aspects that are there in each of these crops and the importance also would cover. But nevertheless, this grain amaranth, see, we have analyzed the nutrition composition of this grain amaranth. So compared with this buckwheat, foxtail millet, maize, barley, wheat, and rice. So as I said in the beginning, these are the rice and wheat are the important crops, and also maize in the recent times, especially for the poultry industry. So if you look at, if you compare this grain amaranth protein with that of the rice, so it is enormous. There is 16 grams of protein which is available for every 100 grams. So that is a phenomenal percentage of the content of the protein content that one can obtain from the grain amaranth, which is lacking in other cereals like rice, wheat, or other crops. Similarly, it is grain amaranth is also rich in the carbohydrates. Of course, the carbohydrates content is less when compared to the rice. So lipid, if you look at it, there is 8 grams of lipids, very essentially required for the bodybuilding. So this lipids content is also very high. And the crude fiber. So this is most of the, in nowadays, we often see whether it's the products of the food crops that we consume, whether they're rich in crude fiber or not. So this fiber is essentially good in this. There is 2.43 grams, as high as zero point 0.2 grams in rice. So that is the beauty of this crop. And we have a mineral content. There's 3 grams mineral composition is seen in this crop. And we have an enormous amount of natural calcium, naturally available calcium. At times, many people consume calcium in terms of the tablets, especially the pregnant women. So they use a lot of tablets for the calcium. Calcium will be depleted during pregnancy, and the lactating mothers will be given the calcium in the form of a tablet. But nevertheless, you see, look at the amount of the calcium that is available in this crop. The 490 milligrams as against 45 grams in rice. So phosphorus is also another important component that is essentially required for the human body for the better health management. So there is 600 milligrams of phosphorus is present in this particular grain amaranth. And we also have the iron. Iron is also very important in terms of developing the for development of bones, especially for the kids and the old age people. So the for the bone, better bone development or bone density, you need to have better iron in your food. So that's the reason why we have the good amount, substantial amount of the iron in the grain amaranth. So this is very important. Already the people elsewhere in the developed countries, so they have already made the products out of this grain amaranth. So there is amaranth, the traditional grain of Mexico. There people already have exploited this particular crop for the benefit of this nutrition composition that is present in this grain amaranth. Yeah, if you look at the nutritional composition for every 100 grams of grain, yeah. So essential amino acids is also very important for the human body building for better health balance. So essential amino acid composition we have worked out in the grain amaranth. It can be compared with the cereals and milk. So look at the milk essential amino acid composition as well as the compared with the grain amaranth. So we have an enormous amount of lysine. This is 5 grams for 100 grams. So most of the cereals are lacking this particular lysine. So look at this foxtail millet, maize, barley, wheat, and rice. See, we do not have much lysine. Most of the cereals are lacking lysine. Lysine is one of the essential amino acid that is present in the grain amaranth, which is essentially required for the body. Similarly, we have a methionine, another essential amino acid, which is required for the better health. And we have 4 grams for every 100 grams of protein. So if you analyze the protein profile, you can see this lysine, methionine, cysteine, isoleucine, and leucine. All these essential amino acids are very abundant in grain amaranth, and it is far better than the milk. So that means to say we have a hidden nutrition profile, essential amino acids composition in this grain amaranth, which needs to be exploited for the better health management. So now you have a product already available in the market, 100% amaranth. It is puffed breakfast cereal. So it is the grains are puffed and it can be used as a breakfast cereal quite often most of the people nowadays. So because of this essential amino acids and the rich rich uh, nutrition composition present in the grain amaranth, there is an enormous demand. People should use this particular pseudo cereal in the larger interest of the maintaining the better health. So why at all we need to use this grain amaranth? In nutshell, if I have to say, it has multiple uses. It has multiple uses. So in the early part of the plant growth, we can use these leaves as the green leafy vegetable. And the popped grains, the ones the grains are harvested from the plant, so it can be roasted and popped. It can be easily popped, like sorghum, it pops. So similarly, these grains can also be popped, and they can form the puddings or mixed with sugar syrup to make sweet balls. Usually, laddus are available. Laddus are commercially available in the market, and this can be used as a sweetener. And most of the tribal areas, the tribals usually mix these popped grains with the honey and they consume it. And the flour can be blended with any of the flour for nutrient fortification. Because it doesn't free, it is free of gluten, it cannot be straight away used. Instead, the flour of this grain amaranth can be mixed with, blended with any of the flours, and at different proportions it can be used for nutrient fortification. So we also have, apart from these grains, we also have the amaranth oil. So this amaranth oil can be extracted, and this contains what is called the squalene. It's one of the compound that is largely exploited in the cosmetic ingredient. And this particular squalene has this ability to penetrate the skin, and it can also be used as a lubricant for computer disks. So of late, this oil has been being utilized as a lubricant in the computer disks. So nevertheless, most of the pharmaceutical, it is used as in the cosmetic agent, cosmetic ingredient in preparation of the skin penetrants or the ointments. So creams, especially cosmetic properties are plenty. That's how it being exploited in the cosmetic industry also. So this grain amaranth also produces a large amount of biomass. So it puts up very vast biomass. It grows luxuriously in a very short span of time, and that can be used as a forage crop for the animals. It forms one of the best forage crops for the ruminants. So cows and buffaloes can be fed with this. So because of the high biomass that is produced in a very short period of time. So in USA, it is already considered as one of the healthcare crop because of the abundant nutraceutical properties and the better amino acid composition. So this particular crop is being treated as the healthcare crop in the developed countries. And the drought tolerant characteristics of amaranth makes it prospective dryland crop. So generally it cannot withstand more water. So that's the reason why it can withstand a certain amount of drought also. That's how it can be used in the dryland farming. So these are some of the value-added products which are prepared from the grain amaranth from our own laboratories. So this is the generally grains are white in color, and laddus can be prepared. And already these laddus are commercially exploited by the some of the entrepreneurs, and a lot of non-government organizations and these self-help groups are involved in taking the training from this particular department, and they are going for preparing these laddus on a commercial scale. So similarly, the flour can also be blend with other uh, the flour, and it can be used as used in chapati making also. And of course, these chikkis are very common, and most of the stalls have this chikkis made out of this grain amaranth, and they're very tasty. And this, because of the nutrition, these chikkis can also be used. And the flour can also be used in certain proportion to make the biscuits also. And at times, many homemade snacks can be made using this particular flour, apart from the Bengal gram. So of course, there are constraints in this particular crop. There is a high degree of seed shorting, and at times because of the heavy foliage, there will be larging of the crops. So at the time of maturity, and the seed size is very small. So non-availability with popping machines. Suppose no more this particular problem is not at all there. Already there are machines available, and we are trying to impart the trainings and how to pop this particular seeds mesh. Very small scale machines are available, and anybody interested can take up these grains and then pop it and make the products and sell in the market, or it should be used for their own home consumption. So apart from this grain amaranth, other potential crops that can be considered as a potential crops, also the small millets. We have the foxtail millet, navane, we call it as navane, kodo millet, rosso millet, barnard millet, and little millet. All these small millets have the heavy, they have the potential nutritional benefits. So like new nutri-rich crops, as I said, quinoa is another important promising crop from the Quinopodium species. And we also have a chia. It's largely grown in the most of the areas, especially in the Mysore district, HD Kote region, and even in Tumkur districts being cultivated in the neighboring state Andhra Pradesh. There's a huge amount of huge area under this particular crop, and it's being exploited commercially. And we have the minor fruit crops like custard apples, Indian gooseberry, jamuns, pomelo, wood apple, rose apple, carambola, and canthium. All these some of the minor fruit crops that are available in the forest areas. They have the nutritionally rich crops. And we also have the biofuel crops like Simaruba, I said, Pangiame and Neem. These are very common crops. Of course, the Simaruba also it has a promise for extraction of the biofuel from this particular tree species. And we have the dye making crops, the crops which are can be utilized, exploited for the dye purpose, extracting the dye, like annatto. So these are some of the small millets I said, the foxtail millet, so the kodo millet, then Barnard millet, rosso millet, and little millet. All these small millets can be exploited for this nutritional benefits. So they're nutri-rich. So similarly, we have another two important nutri-rich crops that are under cultivation, dominating a lot of area in our own state and the neighboring states. This is quinoa. Its grains are utilized. Similarly, we have a chia. So this particular crop comes up very well in the less moisture also. So these two crops doesn't require more of irrigation. Rather, they can be used with less irrigation. And there are two kinds of varieties in chia. We have a black seeded chia and the red seeded, white seeded chia. The two varieties are available. And there are efforts to identify the new genotypes in this particular crop to enhance the seed size, keeping the nutrition profile as it is. I think I am through with this presentation. Srinivas sir? Srinivas sir?
Sir. Sir, really, sir?
Sir, I think I am through with this presentation. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So if there are any questions, I am pleased to take.
I think there is no question, sir. Lobo? Lobo?
Hello.
Lobo, any question?
Yes, sir.
Questions ಯಾವುದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ.
No question, sir. I think we will
If
share
there are
this.
no questions,
Sir, we will.
Yeah.
If there are any questions regarding this, we will send the chat, sir. Question and this one through email.
sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank you,
for
Thank
giving
you,
this
sir.
opportunity
Enlightening
to
on.
Dr. Ramesh and Srinivas and all the group
Yes,
for
sir.
giving this opportunity to share some of the views on these potential crops. And my another colleague would be touching upon the other important crops also, and
Yes,
the
sir.
agronomy that is followed, especially the crop production practices that are followed in these crops.
Yes, sir.
Will be Dr. Anandh would be covering those aspects.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Yes.
Thank you once again for
Thank you
giving
once
this
again, sir.
opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Everyone start now speaking. Don't type anything. Sir, don't type. One second.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಹಾ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇರಿ ಸರ್. ಅವರು ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಲೋಬೋ ಸರ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದ್ರ?
ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್ ಜೊತೆನೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿ.
ಹಾ ಆಯ್ತು, ಮಾತಾಡಿ. Yes.
ಯಾವ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆಯ್ತು ಸುಧಾ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸುಧಾ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಿ ತಗೊಟ್ಟಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಧಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ ತಗೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ಯಾ ಅದು ತಲೆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇರೆ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಯಾರು ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು ಸುಧಾ ಕಂಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಬಿಡು ಇದು LMK ಆಗಲಿ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಸುಧಾ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸುಧಾ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ LMK ಆಗಲಿ ವಿವರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂಟಿಯನ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸುಧಾ ಸುಧಾ ಜೀನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹರೀಶ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಪಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹರೀಶ್ 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 ಕುಮಾರ್ ಪಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಸರು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಹೋಗೈತೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹರೀಶ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಪಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದೇ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಲೋಬೋ ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್
ಸರಿ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಈಗ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್?
ಹೌದು.
ಒಂದಿರೋ ಹಲೋ, ಇವರಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಚೇತನ್ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್, ತುಮಕೂರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಗ್ರಾಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಇವಾಗ ಕಡೆ ಈಗ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. ಹಲೋ ಲೋಬೋ ಸರಿ ಹೋಯ್ತಾ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು? ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ.
ಹೌದಾ?
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಒಬ್ಬನು. ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ರಮಣ ಬಂತು ಪಾಪ.
PPT ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಕಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನ? ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಆಂಟನಿ.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ PPT ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ.
PPT ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಓಕೆ
ಶೇರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಶೇರಿಂಗ್. ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಸರ್.
ಹಾ
ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಹಾ
ಸರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಓಕೆ
ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಆನಂದ್ ಸರ್, ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನೀವು ಟಾಕ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಆನಂದ್. Once again, so today we have Dr. Anandh sir, a native of Nagmangla Taluk of Mandya district. Did his PhD in the year 2010 from University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. During the year 2011, to 2018. Sir was worked as scientist agronomy at All India Coordinated Research Project on management of salt affected soils and use of saline water in agriculture. Agricultural Research Station, Gangavati, Karnataka, under University of Agricultural Sciences, Raichuru. Presently, Sir is working as scientist in All India Coordinated Research Network on Potential Crops at University of Agricultural Sciences, GKVK, Bangalore. Sir also got more than 10 years of experience at the Agricultural University and has significantly contributed in the field of agriculture and biofuel. Sir has worked on management of salt affected soils through introducing salt tolerant crops, especially sugar beet as complementary crop to sugar cane for sugar production as well as ethanol production. Sir also worked on amelioration of salt affected soil through planting of biofuel trees such as Jatropha, Pangemia, etc. Since 2018, Sir is working on nutri-rich potential crops such as grain, Amaranth, Quinoa and Chia, and creating awareness and production forecasting and also value addition of these crops. Sir also published more than 40 research articles in reputed national and international journals. Sir contributed for more than 20 agriculture technologies for benefit farmers of Karnataka. Sir has coordinated more than 10 research projects financed by RKBI, Government of India, Government of Karnataka, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, and KSBDB. He has got many awards. Among these, Young Scientist Award from Pearl Foundation, Kamraj University, Madurai, Tamil Nadu is the latest one. Sir is giving the talk on the production practices of nutri-rich potential crops. So, welcome you, sir, for giving this talk. Welcome you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Can I start, sir?
Yeah, please, sir.
I think my slides are visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible. You can please go on, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am here to present production practices of nutri-rich potential crops. This is the actually these are the some of the unknown crops, underutilized crops we can say. That one especially quinoa. These are all quinoa and chia. These are all the not in our crop of our country. These are South Africa, that is the South America, Southern America. These crops are originated. But though you are originated from other countries, these crops are nutri-rich crops. That's why we have to explore these nutri-rich crops in our country. In order to explore the nutrition benefits of these crops, we are popularizing these crops in our country also, because these crops are called as climatic resilient crops, because nowadays climatic variations are going on, temperature and also rainfall is reducing, temperature is rising because of global warming. That's why these crops are recently introduced crops in order to explore the nutritional benefits. That's why we need to study these crops as a new crops for everyone. That's why we are creating the awareness on these crops. Uh, as an introduction, just I will fast I will go. We have plenty of crop plants in our earth. We have edible plants we have about 30,000. We are cultivating which are suitable for cultivating are 7,000 plants are there. Widely used now we are using 158 plants. It is what it is showing. 90% of the world food is depends on only 30 crops. Only 30 crops. 75% of the world food is coming from 10 crops. more than 60% of the main food crops, that is rice, wheat, and maize. These three crops are supplying more than 60% of our food in our country, because we are growing population. We have to feed the population of our country. That is 1.38 billion people are there in our country. What it's showing that, what it shows means it is reducing, what is narrowing the agro biodiversity, narrowing, because we have plenty of plants, crop plants, food crops, which are suitable for growing crops, but only few crops, only few crops we are growing to feed the whole population. That is what it is showing. It is not a positive sign, not a positive sign in the sense of food security as well as nutrition security. That's why we need to think of other crops which are rich in nutrients, because nutrition security is most important nowadays, because we have already we have already achieved the food security, but still we need to achieve nutrition security. That's why these crops are introduced. Only few crops are not enough. Only few crops what we are growing, that are not enough to achieve the nutrition, whatever the nutrition required population. And also some crops are, every crops are not suited to agro ecosystems, which are location specific crops are there. In some regions, some crops will grow very well. In some crops yield more in some regions. That's why need to diversify the food base. That's why what we have to explore these crops, in which region individual particular crop will grow, that we need to explore, and also so that we can diversify the food base. Only we are sticking on to only few crops, no, especially rice, wheat, maize, potato, especially potato. These five crops we are producing more. That too, these crops are not enough to achieve the food security. That's why solution is need and trait-based potential crops of regional importance. That's why in these crops, whatever we introduced recently, now we are searching for in which location these potential crops are crop for the future, because these are climate resilient, requires less water, even in a less rainy period also we can grow successfully these crops. That's why these crops are called as future crops or super food crops, because of its nutritional constitution. We have a great challenge in agriculture. All we are know that we have great challenges, because population is increasing. It is estimated that by 2050, 50% of again 50% of population going to increase, and that's why we need to increase the food production. That's by 70% we need to increase. Now we are producing the almost 280 to 90 million metric tons of food grain production every year. We need to increase it to 400 million metric tons by 2050. And that temperature of 2-degree temperature, it will increase by 2050. If we increase 1 degree temperature than the normal, usually crop productivity definitely it will decrease. 3 quintals of any crop, 3 quintals production of any crop will decrease by 1 degree increase in temperature. And also energy. Energy means we need to produce the electricity generation, and also diesel, biofuel, whatever the energy we need now, we need to increase by 100% by 2050. That's why these are the challenges in agriculture in further future this one agriculture. That's why how to expand the agriculture output without further constraining resources. Nowadays, soil resources is delineating, air pollution, and also one side is global warming, increasing in temperature. That is the main cause for delineating the resources, we need to increase the productivity of our crops. What we have to do? That is the main challenges in agriculture. And also one more challenge is in our country, usually about 1 billion people globally remain hungry every day. Globally, it is indicated that globally 1 billion people globally remain hungry. Still, in our country, we have achieved food security. Though we have achieved food security, still 1 billion people globally remain hungry every day. You can see this one, percentage of the world's poor. In India also, more than 30% of populations are poor. That is Asian country only, it is showing that China, Nigeria, Indonesia, Pakistan, Philippines, Bangladesh, Tanzania, these are the countries, global countries, which are having a more hungry people or poor people. That one side it is showing that number of undernourished people by region. It is still in our country also more than 35% of people are undernourished. Undernourished means especially iron and calcium, especially iron and calcium and also protein. These nutrients are not enough for our people because of food base, because we have a narrow biodiversity. Only few crops we are going, the crops are not enough to supply the enough nutrients for our people, our population. That's why it is showing that undernourished is the one side, and also poor people are there, and also global warming, temperature is increasing, rainfall is decreasing. That is these are all the causes, reason for lower productivity. Though if we are having these type of problems, we need to increase the productivity. There is no other way. So at the same time, that is nutrition security is most important to alleviate these malnourished people, malnutrition. We have to at least we have to reduce the malnutrition by growing crops which are having more nutrients. So many crops are there, nutri-rich crops are there in our as well in the world as well as in the country, that we need to explore it, but farmers don't know about these crops. That's why we need to explore it. I think our sir already covered this grain amaranth. It is one of the ancient crop, you can say. We are already eating these leaves of that one leafy vegetable we are eating. That grains also suitable for eating. That is having more protein, calcium, iron, everything this crop is having. That we can explore. This is one of the nutri-rich crops. We can grow these crops in all the climatic situations, in all the seasons of our country. June, July, June to September, and also October to December, January to March. That's when 3 seasons are there. Kharif, Rabi, and summer seasons. In all the seasons we can grow. Especially Kharif season, that is rainy seasons, suitable for this crop. This crop can be grown very easily because it is suitable for all types of soils and also all types of climate, and also it is very easy to cultivate because it is one of the weed. We can domesticate. We have domesticated this one. We have identified the 3 which are species which are suitable for grain purpose. So many species are there. More than 65 species are there in grain amaranth. That one, these 3 species we can grow for grain purpose. That is, and also with respect to water requirement of these crops, this water requirement is very less because these crops are drought tolerant crops. We can is very less, that is 90 to 85 to 90 days we can grow successfully these crop. That's why wherever very less rainfall region is there, very less rainfall, even less than the ragi, finger millet what we are growing in our southern Karnataka, southern part of our Karnataka. Ragi is the major crop, but in addition to ragi we can also grow this crop under all the climatic situations and also all types of soils. But suitable soil is that one, whatever the soil is having the neutral pH, that one 6.5 to 7.5 pH. This is widely suitable for that type of soil, and also well drained soil, we can say. Well drained soil, that is there should not be any waterlogging problem in that soil. That soil is very suitable for this crop. And also we have released in our university, we have released 4 varieties so far, that any variety can be grown in all these, because in all the seasons we can grow, because even since it is a C4 plant, we can say it needs more sunlight. Wherever more sunlight is there, its yield will be more. That's why this is called as climate resilient crop. These are the nutrition composition of this one when compared to buckwheat, foxtail millet, maize, barley, wheat and rice. These wheat and rice are most common. Generally we are eating every day. But this barley, buckwheat, and grain amaranth, these are the very less knowing crops, you can say. That's why in order to achieve the food security, that nutrition security, there is no other way. We need to include this crop in our regular cropping system, either as a pure crop or as an intercrop or mixed crop. We have to grow, then only we can achieve the nutrition security, because of nutrition content, you can see when compared to other it is having compared to other than that pulses what we are eating every day, pulses, that one except pulses, among these cereals and pseudo cereals, this is having more protein. And also this one calcium, you can say in ragi, calcium is rich, we will say. But more than the ragi, this finger of grain amaranth is having more calcium, and also phosphorus. This calcium and phosphorus is most important for our bone health. Otherwise, osteoporosis, one disease will come. That's why in order to reduce that one deficiency of calcium and phosphorus, and also iron, that is anemia, what we are having, more than 35% of people are having anemic in our country. We have to include these crops into a regular cropping system. Here, in addition to that minerals, protein and minerals, mineral carbohydrates, that amino acids is also most important. Yes. Phosphorus, what is sulfur containing amino acids, especially lysine, methionine, cysteine, isoleucine and leucine. These are also, this grain amaranth is also having this one, these amino acids. This is good for immune system, to develop the immune system of in our body. These amino acids are most important. I think this one already multiple uses of this crop already covered. I will go to next crop, that one. These are the important product we can make from the grain amaranth. That one popped, we can pop it and flour it. Flour can be used, and we can in any flour we can use it by mixing. That one even in wheat flour or in finger millet or ragi flour or any flour, we can mix it and we can prepare any different products. Again, one more new crop I want to introduce here. One we call it as a weed. Again, it is also weed. That is Quinopodium quinoa. Again, it is domesticated. Seeds are suitable for eating. These seeds are suitable for eating. We can say it is an alternative to rice, because it will give rice. That's why it is called as alternative to rice, which is a native of what is that? South America, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Chile. These 4 major countries producing this crop. This is also having high protein content. That is, when compared to cereals and pseudo cereals, it is having protein of 11 to 18% protein. Directly, it will give rice. rather than that one. When we use that one finger foxtail millet, little millet, whatever we call it as that one, no, small millets. Small millets, we have to dehull that one. We have to remove the outer layer of that one. Afterward, that is only thing is we need to polish that one outer layer, very thin layer of that one layer, which is having a saponin content. That has to be removed by pearling, that one polishing. Only we need to give the polish. That's why directly it will give rice. That is one of the crop that is recently introduced to our country, and also it is having a more export potential also, rather than in our this one. In our country, consumption is very less now, but why consumption is less means people are not aware of this crop. That is the main reason, and also no market, no direct market for these crops. That's why this one grow area under cultivation is very less. That's why it is one of the nutri-rich crops, because it is having more minerals also. That one, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, zinc, and manganese. Vitamins also, B1, B2, B3, C, amino acids it is having, and also especially fatty acid, that one omega-3 and linoleic acid. It is having oil content also. In that oil content, linoleic acid also there. That omega-3, which is responsible for our heart health, that is also having. That oil content is 2 to 10%. And also one more important thing is it is a gluten-free, because in other crops, when compare wheat is having gluten, but this crop is gluten free. That's why it is suitable for those who are having diabetic type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, this crop is this is called as best food crop for diabetic patients. This table showing that this nutrient composition, protein, fat, fiber, as when compared to maize, rice, and wheat, these are the major crops. Kg of dry weight, how much rich in this one compared to maize, rice, and wheat, how much minerals are there in this, especially calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, iron, even iron. That's why these crops are called nutri-rich. Why we need nutri-rich foods? Because for our daily life, every day we need to consume protein, because protein rich foods are especially that one pulses are protein rich crops. Other than non-veg, we have to eat chicken or mutton, that one that is having protein. But other than, because in our country we are having more of vegetarians, that's why in plant system we need to explore it of protein rich crops. This is also one of the protein rich quinoa, we can say. Higher relieve constipation. That's why even finger millet is having high fiber. When compared to finger millet, also same as finger millet, it is also having high fiber, which is helpful for prevent the heart disease and also reducing high blood pressure and diabetes. Fiber containing food nowadays high level people are asking now. That's why this fiber lowers our cholesterol and glucose levels. That's why this is one of the high fiber containing crop, food crop. And also gluten free, as I told you already, this is a gluten free, high amount of iron. When compared to other crops, it is having a high amount of iron also. Iron is most important to increase our hemoglobin content in our blood, and also it will supplies the carries oxygen from one cell to another and supplies oxygen to our muscle to aid in their contraction. That's why blood circulation will be regularized when we eat the iron rich. Magnesium also we need to eat because it reduces the type 2 diabetes by promoting healthy blood sugar control. High in riboflavin, that is vitamins also. It is having riboflavin, that is B2 riboflavin. It improves energy metabolism within brain and muscle cells and is known to help create a proper energy production in cells. It has a different multi-purpose uses this quinoa is having. We need to explore it because we here in this table you can see here. Here, as I already told you that one outer layer of that seed, quinoa seed is having saponin content. That saponin content is not good for our health, but we need to explore in the other way. That saponin can be used for preparation of beer, shampoo, detergents, toothpaste, pesticides, and also used for preparation. Grain can be used for flour. Flour can be used for making bread, biscuits, dumplings, sauces, pasta, that one desserts, sweets, cakes, different food items, different recipes we can prepare from grain flour of this one, grain flour of this quinoa, and also we can make it flakes of out of this one grain. These flakes can be used as drinks, soups, sweets, yogurt, and puris. You can make extruded grain. We can make it a snacks based products. We can make it from these grains, and also puffed quinoa also. Puffing also possible in this grain. We can make different recipes out of this. These are the important different recipes we can make. There are multiple uses of this one quinoa. We can use differently because I already told you it is gluten and also high fiber content, which is suitable for reducing. It is which is better for reduce the blood sugar content, and also there are different uses you have listed here. We can see here there are different health benefits, especially this one high glycemic index, less glycemic index. In the blood sugar, it will control the blood sugar. That's why. How to grow this crop? Just coming to how to grow this crop. This is also one of the climate resilient crop. Very less duration. That too, in our country, it is very less duration. That is 90 days crop. We can grow in all these seasons, especially in seasons, in all these soils. In that all these soils, that suitable is that is well drained sandy loam soil, we can say sandy loam soil. And also one more important of this quinoa is it is suitable for even salt affected soils, which soil is having more pH, that is alkaline soil, we can say, where there is a pH is more than 8.5. That soil is called salt affected soil. That in that soil also this can be successfully we can grow. It is tolerant to salt also. That's why in this because we have in our country we have more than 6 million hectare of salt affected soils because of faulty management of irrigation water, especially in command areas. We have the salt affected soils. That salt affected soil can be utilized for growing this type of crops, which are having salt tolerant crops. That's why this crop is salt tolerant. We need to explore it in that soil also. Well drained, especially yield level is more when compared to other countries. Yield level is more in our country because it is a climate resilient. It will grow even in even in 8-degree temperature and also in 35-degree temperature also. Even in 8-degree temperature also we can grow, 38-degree temperature also we can grow. There is a wide variability in temperature requirement of this crop. That's why this is climate resilient. and also very drought tolerant crop. Even what we are using for that one, no, finger millet, we are using uh, almost 350 to 400 of water we are using for finger millet crop to grow. In that crop, we need only half of the water what we are giving for finger millet crop. That is enough to grow this type of. This is quinoa crop. That we can explore wherever irrigation facility is very less and scarce water resource is there. In that season also wherever for cultivation of this type of crop, quinoa. Even you can see in now in recent years in Anantapur area, Anantapur and Indupur area, they are growing because in that area soil is less fertile and also water source is very less. Even water source is very less and also less fertile and also high temperature is there. They are growing very successfully since 5 or 6 years. They are exporting this quinoa to other countries also. Farmers are growing. One company is there. They are procuring that quinoa from the farmers. They are processing it and exporting to other countries. There is export potential are there for this type of crops. In our country also nowadays gaining momentum. That importance is gaining momentum because nowadays everywhere that one mass media is there. YouTube, different channels are there. Farmers will see all the mass media. That's why even in health consciousness is also increasing in our country. That's why everybody asking for nutri-rich crops only. In olden days, we were using that one small millets, naune, araka, same, what we say, no, that were we were eating that one. Later on, we forgot that one. Again, they have picked up. They have picked up. Likewise, these when compared to small millets, also this quinoa, grain amaranth is having more nutrients. We can definitely explore wherever the soil fertility is very less and also wherever the water is very scarce. Wherever water is availability is very less, in that area we can grow this crop and also farmers can even itself farmers themselves they can eat and also they can get the nutrient benefit of this. When compared to other countries, yield level is much better than other countries because it is having per acre we are getting 1 ton of quinoa grain out of this one quinoa. In other countries, very less. In other countries, when compared to the Ecuador, Chile, Peru, very having very because there are that countries are temperature is very less. That's why I don't know. But in our country, because of this temperature suitable condition for this crop, yield level is more. Still, we have a scope to improve the this one yield by agronomic practices and also different crop improvement programs. One more crop I want to introduce here. That one recently everybody is asking this one, chia. In everywhere you can browse the YouTube or you can browse anywhere Google. Chia you can give. It will give all the benefits of chia. Everybody is searching for chia. That's why you need to explore this one also. This is one of the belongs to that one mint family, that is Laminaceae family, Salvinia hispanica, scientifically it is called. It is also annual plant. It is native of Mexico and Guatemala. Again, it is also not from our country. This is from Mexico and Guatemala. It is also one of the pseudo cereal because its grain is whole and leaves are just like a dicotyledons or broad-leaved leaves. That's why it is grouped under pseudo cereal. It is just like a tulsi, what we are having. That was tulsi or kam kasturi. These seeds are very rich in nutrients, but we need to consume this in a very small quantity very small quantity, these seeds can be taken. You can see here nutrition jawar is having more protein, 16.5. That one, what is that? Carbohydrate, fiber content also more. When compared to other this one, this much fiber it is having, and also very oil content also there. Oil content is 30% oil content will be there, and also different potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium. But it is a this crop can be with very less quantity we have to eat. That according to WHO, we need to consume this 20 to 25 grams per day. 20 to 25 grams per day we need to consume this one. Again, when compared to other crops, because of this high nutrient content of this, especially minerals, and also different engine, it will increase the activity effect in the human body, resulting in functional disorders of individual organs and the immune system, thereby leading to frequent depressions. Chia contains 6 times more calcium, you can see here. 6 times more calcium, 11 times more phosphorus, and 4 times more potassium than 100 ml of milk. That's why these crops, all 3 crops, what I am dealing today, that are almost 100 ml, that one nutrient content is equal to milk. It is comparable with milk. With milk. That's why everybody is not drinking milk. No, in our still there is a shortage of milk in our country. That's why we need to explore these crops for high nutrient contents. Even iron content in milk is deficit of iron. But iron content also there in these 3 crops, especially chia. You can see iron content 6 times more in spinach, iron content, then 1.8 times more than lentils. That's why when compared to other crops, really these crops are beneficial for our health. Different essential amino acids also. Directly I will go back to production process rather than this one nutrition content. No? And also one more important of these chia seeds are omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid, which is helpful for our body, preventing the formation of clots and plaques in the arteries. Play a key role in preventing the formation of clots and plaques in the arteries, and also helps to prevent cardiovascular diseases. It is having lipids, that is 40% of lipids, which in which 60% is omega-3 fatty acid. To high density that protect heart attack and stroke. That's why even the doctor also suggests this one. Every day we need 20 to 25 grams of this one chia seeds we need to consume for our better health. And also production process. In our country, in recent years, in our country, especially in Karnataka, this crop area under this crop is growing like anything, increasing like anything. Because especially in Mysore area, that HD Kote, Unsur, and that one Piriyapatna, that area is increasing every year. That started from there also, and also in all over Karnataka also, so many farmers are coming forward to grow this crop, because this crop is having a export potential in other countries also. Almost more than 120 countries asking for this crop, these seeds. That's why this is wherever the countries yield level is also good, and also we can withstand a different climatic situation, constraints in the climate. That's why this crop can also be explored in different places of our Karnataka also. Even in Bagalkot, Bijapur, Gulbarga, Bidar area also, farmers are growing. Even in Gadag, now Tumkur area also, Sira area also, so many acres of land, farmers are growing this one because this crop is very easy to cultivate. Very less nutrients required for this crop for growing. That's why all farmers are especially in Rabi season, especially in after that one, after finger millet or after groundnut, what they will grow, no? After groundnut, they will take one crop of this one. If there is a rainfall, it is a good this crop only. That because it is having high market value. Nowadays, up to rupees 200 rupees last year, this year, even this year up to this one, no, January, again one crop is coming. Up to 200 rupees per kg this marketing. That's why farmers are getting 3 to 4 quintal of yield per acre without much investment, without much cost of production. That's why farmers are preferring this one, and also market facilities also strengthened, also streamlined in our Karnataka. This is one company in Bangalore. It is procuring these seeds from the farmers and also exporting to other countries. Whatever the in our country needs, that is also available. Whatever the country needs, we need only 5,000 kg of in these seeds in our country. That is also met out with this one local consumption also. Export is more in other countries, especially in even in South Asia and also North America. North America, it is having even South America also having demand. That's why this is one of the important crop gaining momentum in our Karnataka also. In our country, especially Karnataka only, this area is becoming more, and also major area coming under this crop only. Because of this market benefit and also demand for this crop. These are some of the products out of this one. Different products we can make out of this one. These seeds, this one juice. Any juice we can mix it and drink. When we put this one seeds, 1 spoon of seeds in the it will absorb the water. It will become gel, like gel like we can get that one now. It is easy to drink, and also biscuit also we can prepare, vegetable salad, milkshake also. In some of the places, especially in malls in Bangalore, that this type of products are available already. For that high level people are taking this one. As cake also we can prepare, and also chocolates, ice creams, and also oil. This is having a 30% oil. That oil is quite beneficial for our skin. What is that? Skin health, because as a moisturization, and also it will grow our glow. It will increase glow of our skin. That's why oil is also more demand. More demand also. 1 liter of oil is going is online selling by that one, no, 8 still is sold. Likewise, it is having a more demand. In all the soils we can grow. Again, same. In all the soils, especially well-drained soils. The waterlogging situation should not be there. Waterlogging soil should not be there because it is sensitive to waterlogging. Sensitive to waterlogging. There should not be any waterlogging situation in the land, so that we can successfully we can grow. And also nutrient requirement. Nutrient requirement is very less because where there is a less amount of fertile soil, less amount of fertile soil also enough to grow this crop. That's why when there is a fertile also it can be grow, but when there is a fertile soil, we can get more yield. When there is a less fertile also, we can get somewhat less yield, and also only major crops what farmers are growing, that is maize, sunflower, what they are growing. Sunflower is anyhow we need to produce the oil, no, that is needed. Even maize area is coming and more area under in our Karnataka. That maize is it is an exhaustive crop actually. It needs more nutrients. It will affect our fertility status of our soil also. In that situation, we can grow as an intercrop or as a mixed crop, not only in pure crop. We can include it as a mixed crop or intercrop. We can grow, and even in a home consumption purpose also, farmers can be explore it in this crop for their health especially, because farmers no farmers are that one no none of the farmers are eating that one nutri-rich crops, especially that one small millets, or even except that one finger millet what they are eating now. Even in city people, they are not eating finger millet, they are searching. Farmers should grow these crops first, and also they have to consume themselves first. Then only it will in our country we can reduce our malnutrition. Whatever the malnourished peoples are there, we can reduce it. Everybody is having nutrient deficiency one or the other way. Everybody, even in city people also, even in urban areas, that I mean that one urban areas also, everybody obesity also one of the deficiency. That one or that one eating of junk foods, that one obesity. That is also it will reduce by eating this type of foods, which is having a less fat, and also this one fiber content, and also more minerals and amino acids, which will give the humans, which will improve our immunity system of our body. These are the important nutritional and everything. It is also having antioxidants, just like our fruits. Antioxidants also there, which is helpful for that one burning of our fat, and also fiber content, which is helpful for our that one digestion, and also constipation. It will improve, or it will reduce constipation. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid in none of the crops except that one what is that, linseed, and also this one chia is having this type of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid. In none of the crops this type of that omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid not there. That's why in this definitely we can explore this type of nutrients. These are the important three crops we can grow in our soil as a climate resilient crops, and also less water required crops. Climate resilient crops means less water required only, and also highly suitable for all types of climate which are prevalent in our country. Coming to end of this topic, no? Different nutrient benefits I have listed here because it is also having calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, sulfur also it is having, which is helpful for our bone health, which is helpful for our bone health. Bone health also most important, especially for children. Especially for children are also old aged people. they can eat this dip of this is about these three nutri-rich crops production practices, whatever nutrition benefits I told this one. Climate production in terms of production, it is very easy to cultivate. Only farmers has to adopt this crops in their cropping system, because it is very difficult to replace the regular cropping system in our country as well as in Karnataka also, because finger millet is a major crop. We cannot replace finger millet with that grain amaranth. But as an intercrop, or even wherever finger millet is not suitable, in that area that crop can be grown, or as a intercrop and also mixed crop. Even quinoa also, wherever finger millet is not possible, and also salt affected soil. Especially you can go to Kaveri, even Kaveri command area, and also Tungabhadra alkaline soil, sodic soil. That in sodic soil also it can be grown. More than 1 lakh area, I think more than 1 lakh area is under salt affected in TBP command area. That area can be utilized for growing this quinoa crop. And also even in upper command, that one, what is that? In Dharwad, one command area is there. What is that? I forgot on that one. In the 5 major command areas there, everywhere in command area, 10% of the area under salt affected. This crop can be grown. Except that one grain amaranth and chia, the quinoa can be grown under salt affected soil, definitely. I think this is enough. Okay, sir, completed.
Thank you very much, sir. Anand sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sir. I also listening your talk. It was really excellent, sir. And
Thank you,
therefore,
sir.
for
Thank
the
you, sir.
participants and KSTA and my own behalf, thank you very much, sir, for your interesting lecture, sir. And Lobo, is there any questions? Lobo? Lobo?
ಸರ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Questions ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್ ಗೌಡ್ರ?
ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Okay. Questions ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದ್ರೆ sir, we will mail you, sir.
Okay, sir. How
Email.
many participants are there, sir? I don't know here. It is not showing.
Sir?
How many
Questions
participants are
ಏನಾದ್ರು
there here?
ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸರ್, ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಬ್ರು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಕೇಳಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳು PUC ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So we will send it, sir.
Yes, sir. First time I am using. You are not showing the participants list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you,
Okay, shall I sign out, sir?
Yeah, please, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.